Jeff, please sit down.
Yeah, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for coming to Molyneux. This is a momentous day in the history of Wolverhampton Wanderers. The club is delighted to announce that 100% of the share capital in the club has been sold, along with all of the club's assets, to the Fosun Group. I'm delighted to welcome Jeff Shee, who has led the negotiations with me and with Steve Morgan over the past 4, 5, 6 weeks or so. The terms of the deal are private and confidential. However, when Steve put the club up for sale about 9.5 months ago, he made a point of stressing that he would not be looking to profiteer from the sale of the football club. And whilst the terms are private and confidential, I can confirm to you that that has been the case. There is something in the sale and purchase agreement that gets him some money in the event of the club being successful, i.e. gaining promotion to the Premier League. But whatever monies is paid to Steve Morgan will directly go to charity. And that's something that Steve was keen to point out in this press conference. I'm going to let Jeff talk primarily about Fosun Group, what it is, but just in summary, we're so delighted because one of the things that Steve said from the start, and one of the things that I have been saying for almost as long as I can remember now, that at Wolverhampton Wanderers, every single thing is in place. We have a management structure, the foundations, we have a young team, we have brilliant facilities, great stadium, fantastic staff, and brilliant fans in their tens of thousands. And what the fans have always wanted, and what we have wanted, is to have an owner that has the financial capital to be able to invest, if it wanted to, heavily into the team to try and create the kind of success that we all so desperately crave at Wolves. And so when you think that this football club has only been up for sale for 9.5 months, in comparison to so many other football clubs that have been up for sale for so much longer and are not sold, and for us to attract a company of Fosun's size, an investment company that has interests in Europe, America, and in particular, and also in England, and that they have decided to invest in us, I think speaks volumes for the ownership of Sir Jack before Steve Morgan for the last 9 years, and everyone who works for this great football club. Because as Jeff will tell you, over the past 2 years, the Fosun Group, with all of its resources, has looked at numerous football clubs and decided that it would take this one. And so I am, and Steve is, and everyone connected with Wolves, extremely proud that in welcoming Jeff Shee. Sheena, his assistant, is here. Jeff will join the board along with a colleague called Sky Sun. John Bowater and John Goff will remain as non-executive directors. And as you know, I am stepping down after 16 years. I think I've done my bit for Wolves, and I am really proud of having been recruited by Sir Jack, kept on by Steve, and asked to remain by these guys. I think my job's done. It's time for somebody else, and I'm absolutely thrilled, genuinely, that we've now got an owner in Fosun who I think can take this club, unlock its potential at the top end of the club, which is finding new players to help take us, hopefully, into the Premier League and stay there for a very, very long time. Jeff.
Yeah, so thank you so much, and I'm so sad about you will leave the club. So I had many times to talk with you, but that's the reality we have to face. So we will work hard, try to move on. And I'm here, and I'm just new to the club, and but I have been thinking over how to improve the club and for a long time. So yeah, I spent a lot of time before the takeover and a lot of things to negotiate and to get the approval from the Football League and all the things. So, and only in the recent 3 or 4 days, I have my focus on all the things about the club. So yeah, so that's it, and I'm so glad to answer any question from you. Yeah.
Okay, how much are you worth, the Fosun Group, Jeff?
Sorry?
How much roughly is Fosun Group worth?
You mean?
How much money is Fosun Group worth?
Worth, you mean?
Yeah, worth.
I think Fosun Group is a Hong Kong listed company, and you can check the market cap and in public, I think. So I understand it's almost 1 billion or 2 billion, just like that. So, but it's a public company, you know. So you can check that. Yeah.
Wolves fans are excited by that amount of money. How much money will you be putting in for new players?
Oh yes, I think for Fosun, because our capacity for the investment is so huge. So I think any investment to the club will not be a problem for us. So, but for investment to players, we should think about the smart way. You know, sometimes you spend a lot of money in that, but you cannot get results. So I think yes, Steve said 20 to 30 million is a necessity, and but if necessary, I hope we can put more, and but more or less. But the more important thing is try to find the right player at the right position and to help improve the club. So I don't think money is a problem for us, but it's not all. You know, you have to be smart and to have the way to work out what's the best player to play here.
Part of the process, we've had 76 expressions of interest in buying the club in the 9.5-month period, and one of the things that Steve Morgan and myself wanted to do more than anything else is make sure we had an owner, as Jeff has said, that has got the capital to invest in the bit that the fans really want to invest in, because actually everything else is here, it's there, it's operating well. We don't want to get drawn on how much money that anyone's going to spend for obvious reasons, but if you look at and you just go onto Forbes and look at Chairman Goh, who is the head of the company, you know, it's reported that his personal wealth is 4.1 billion. And somebody said, one of you press guys said that puts Wolverhampton Wanderers as having the 4th richest owners in English football. So, as Jeff's just said, money's not the issue. It's just being smart with it. And because, as we all know, you know, that horrible old adage, how do you make a small fortune in football? Well, you start with a large one. So you've got to be careful that you don't waste money. And these guys are very shrewd investors. And we hope that we make good decisions going forward that enables us to get value for money.
What about Kenny?
You could have bought Aston Villa, you could have bought West Bromwich Albion. Why have you bought Wolverhampton Wanderers?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think before Wolves, in the past 2 years, I have been looking at clubs for investment, and 15 also, I think. So, but I gave up all the opportunities. And your specific question about to compare the two clubs, right? But I think it's not so fair because, you know, I don't want to try to turn against another club. But for us, the reason for investing into Wolves is very simple, and I think here is a very good. I think for investment, we needed to find the space for growth. You know, for example, if I want to invest in Man United, it's a very good club, but how to improve that? You know, so I think they are there, and so we want to find some space to grow, and in the meantime, to grow up, and you should have a very good structure, and sometimes the price is cheap, and you buy a very bad club, and without any structure, and you cannot do anything to the club. So fortunately, and there are very few clubs in the world who can combine the two things together, but the Wolves is one of them. So we have a very good structure, we have a very good academy, young talents here, and a very good history, legacy here, and a very good fans here, very large fan base here, and in the meantime, the only thing we need to do is just to put more money into the club to buy better players here, and so we will have a very good chance to move on. You know, so So yeah, that's the reason, and I invest into here. Yeah.
Will you be buying a new manager? That's Pete's question. There has been speculation about Kenny Jackett, the head coach, as to whether he is part of your plans. Can you tell us that?
Yeah, frankly, I think before the takeover, I think it's only last week. My only focus is on how to make the deal done. So I'm not thinking anything seriously about the coach. We have no time to do that. 3 days ago, 4 days ago, I'm not so confident that we can make the deal then. But now we make the deal then. So only these days I will be thinking about anything about the club. And also I had 2 meetings with Kenny, and on Friday and on Sunday. The only topic is about the squad. So I shared almost the same opinion with him. And but I think that's better let he say something, but I think the same as him. So I can say here that I think the squad is too small now. The size too small now. We need at least 20 to 25 players and to compete. And now we have not so many. I like the young guys here, but when the squad is too small and you cannot to face some challenges just like injuries, all the things. It's a long season, and also for some key positions, just like striker, just like left side, left back, left winger, and we are short of some players there. So so I think I totally agree the point from Kenny about squad, and I'm working very hard with him and try to give him all the support I can have, and especially for the players. That's it.
So Ken is the coach going forward and operates with the full support of the club and Fosun behind him, just like every other manager. And what happens will happen. He's got an opportunity to bring great success to the club, and hopefully he will.
Yeah.
Why are Chinese firms so keen to invest in English football clubs?
A good question. Yeah, I think you cannot take all the Chinese company in the same category, right? So because there are different motivation to invest into clubs, and I can say only our motivation is very simple because we think sports industry is growing up in China and in the world, and among all the sports, football is the best one, the most popular one in the world. So our selection will be trying to do something in football first. Then when you look at all the clubs and companies in the world, I think English clubs has the best value because we have so much broadcasting revenue from Premier League, and even the club from Championship League, we can share some profit from Premier League, and all we have so good foundation here. We have so good stadium here, so good academy here. So I think English clubs will be the best choice in the world.
Are you passionate about football, or is this mainly a business venture? Which comes first?
I said 2 things both. So the first thing about the business, I'm an investor. We have to think carefully about the value for the investment. So here it is. But in the meantime, personally, I'm a football fan. So I'm a long-time football fan. So I know a lot of things about football. I think there are 2 parts inside a club. The first part is about commercial things, how to have fans, how to have more revenue, profit, costs, all the things. The other thing is about football. So you have to have better players, have a better squad here to compete. So I think personally, I have seen a lot of other clubs and up and down just like that. So I think I'm not a professional in the industry now, but I'm learning very quickly. And by my observation in the past, I think I'm ready here to do something the smart way to help the club.
We just met the staff earlier, and that sort of question came up, and Jeff, I'm sure, will want to allude a little bit more when I kind of lead him into it. But picking up on your point, this is very different from many of the acquisitions of football clubs we've seen over the years, because the Fosun Group is an investment company. And it sees Wolverhampton Wanderers as a shrewd, strategic investment which fits in with the sporting aspirations that the company's got, with the Chinese diktat that, you know, football's going to become more and more important. They're not doing this as so many football club owners have done, and you are therefore left on the whim of how that owner feels about the club 2 years down the line. This is a strategic business decision by a huge company, and the financial commitment to it in relation to its business in reality is tiny. And what they see as them being long-term investors as opposed to a long-term owner-operator who may just get fed up with it after a year and a half, because let's be fair, running a football club consistently, successfully is very, very challenging and comes with all sorts of problems, and people get tired of it, don't they? This is not going to be one of those things. These guys are in for the long term because they realise that getting Wolverhampton Wanderers, the club that it is, and he's talked about it, investing in it, getting into the Premier League, investing in it, keeping it in the Premier League, ticks so many boxes for what Fosun want to do. And by the way, the business case for that is fantastic.
Why was Wolves a better offer, Jez, than West Bromwich Albion or Villa?
Well, let me okay. Again, like Jeff, I think it's not right that I talk about other football clubs per se, you've named two, but what I would say is this, that when we went to the Football League, and we know this obviously, they talked about it's nice to see a football club being sold by a stable owner who is not in distress in trying to sell its football club to somebody that may or may not have the financial muscle to take it forward. Wolverhampton Wanderers is being sold by an owner, and the football club is, as we said all along, in fantastic shape. It didn't need to hurry a sale through because it couldn't pay the wages of the staff next month. This is a rock solid business being sold to an absolutely incredible Chinese company with huge resources and real experience in investing in Europe, which makes a change. Many football clubs are in distress. They have operated in a terrible situation for a long time, losing huge amounts of money, chaos everywhere, and somebody comes in and rescues them. So it's a really nice change to see a football club being sold for all of the right reasons rather than the wrong negative reasons. And that's what I think. That's why I think, and I believe, that Fosun Group has decided to buy Wolves for all the right reasons, and Jeff's talked about some of them.
Yep.
Do you know Dr. Tony Shaw?
Dr.
Villa? Do you know Villa's owner, Dr. Tony Shaw?
I don't know.
You don't know him?
Yeah.
We've seen what happened to Leicester. That was an amazing story, wasn't it? Is that something you would like to follow? Would you like to be in that position?
Yeah, so I think, yeah, we'll be very, very lucky if we can copy the story of Leicester City, you know. So, but yeah, you know, sometimes there are two parts in football club. The first part is luck, you know, you have to have luck. The other part, you have to be smart and work very hard. So what I can control is we will work very hard and work smartly, and then be patient to wait for the luck to come. So yeah,
he's not going to say no to that question, is he?
You've talked a little bit about Kenny Jackett just now. It's been very widely reported that the Spanish manager Lopetegui was supposed to come here. He himself apparently has said he would have been here had he not been offered the Spain job. Is that not the case?
Yeah, I know Julian, and I'm so glad that he became the coach for Spain, and I think it's a very good chance for him. And but as I say, I'm so happy to work with Kenny now, and before the takeover, and I'm not focusing so much on the coach. Since we have no time to work on that. So you know, so all the things is like that, and so we have no any contract and to give some new coaches to like that. And we have not made any decision on that because I have yet to know. I have yet time to know Kenny, you know. So I have to talk with him first and to know the status here, and then do the decision here. So yeah.
I understand that. So he was not offered the job.
I think having some talk with him, but not me, and so, and I'm not the guy to do the decision before the deal. I have no power to do that because I'm not taking over the club. But now I have the power, and what I'm thinking, I try to support Kenny with all I can do to prepare for the new season.
I understand.
Yeah.
How soon will it be able to get the players in? Obviously, the transfer window is 6 weeks away.
Yeah.
Will it be possible to do a lot of business before then, the sort of business that you want to do?
You mean the players?
Yes.
Yeah, I think, I had a lot of talk with Kenny and Kevin and Jess in last weekend, and we have 2 weeks before the beginning of the season, and we have almost 5 to 6 weeks before the end of August, so we have 2 time windows. So my plan is try to, before the beginning of the season, we will have several players to come and to start to play for the season with a very solid and first 11, just like that. And after that, we have still 3 to 4 weeks to work and to strengthen the team more. So in my plan, maybe we will have 5 to 8 players more to the squad, and I think that will be more I think more solid and more strong to compete in the league for a long time. So yeah.
And will they be the sort of players that Kevin Thelma, the recruitment team here, have already been working on, or are you and your people going to bring maybe players of a high calibre worth more? Is that the sort of player you're now looking for?
Yeah, of course. We have our own resources, and Kevin has his own, so we will work very closely together and try to put all the players in the list. We have a long list, so, but I can tell you now, I think now the list is shorter because we are very confident for those players who can come here and who cannot. So I think all the things is about to make things done and as soon as possible. Yeah.
One more very quickly, if I may. Jez Moxey has a lot of experience of being here. Jez, ups and downs over the years, as you know. How long is it going to take you to replace him with somebody who has that sort of experience?
Yeah, I have just started to working on finding a new CEO, just the beginning. So I cannot say how much time it will take, but yes. But the time of Jess will be staying here, So I think we will try our best to find the right guy before he leaves.
You can't persuade him to stay.
I have tried. I have tried, but I failed. So yeah, I don't like him to leave, frankly, but. No. Yeah. So, but I understand it's a decision made by himself, and also I understand it fully about his choice, because if I were him, I think maybe I will make the same choice, because it's a long time here. In life sometimes you will want something new. So yeah, so that I can understand. Yeah.
Yes, can I ask what would you like to say to fans who have been patient throughout this process and what they can expect to come from the club now?
I'm sure the fans are going to be absolutely delighted with this news. They haven't had to wait that long, as I've alluded to earlier, 9.5 months from start to finish, when Steve perhaps expectedly or maybe unexpectedly put the club up for sale in their eyes, to actually go through that process and come out the end 9.5 months with the owner that the club now has is going to be greeted with great joy. And as I think we all know, the only thing that is missing is what they are going to bring. And I think there's some really exciting times ahead. You do need to be fortunate, but it's the decision making that is going to be the key to it, because they've got the resources, make the right decisions, and great success can follow for this football club. And as I say, I feel extremely proud of the job that we've done, because as I've alluded to, Jeff's looked at a lot of football clubs and he decided to take this one over every other one, and that has got to be testimony to the work that everyone at this football club has been doing over the years, and perhaps the views of some fans about the leadership of this football club might just change from hearing today's news. So good times ahead.